long since I've done a live over here.
My YouTube is going now, so good.
Okay.
You in your car?
Yes, I am. You know I be on the move. I be on the move.
Mm-hmm.
But we get it done.
Indeed.
So let me ask you. I really want to ask you.
Sure.
When did you start feeling this energy of really inviting in love? Because I know for me and you, we be worried about the bag. We be thinking about the bag and moving in our mission, moving in our purpose. And it's like, when did you really get this energy that something different is required of me and a different focus?
Thank you for the question. And a correction, I'm not worried about the bag. You said, me and you be worried about the bag. I'm not worried about the bag. I want to be correct in that language. Okay? And then to your point about, I laughed when you first started the question because I was born like this, first of all. Okay? And this ties to what you and I started to talk about yesterday about, in many ways, we're very agreeable. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you get out here in the world, you realize, well, shit, we got to do shit a little different around here. But the whole opening up to love, I also want to make sure I'm going to take it how I want to take it. Your question, okay? It's not even, it's always been here. That's the thing. It's not even like, oh, now I'm, it's always been this. Yeah, so yeah, that to simply put, like this, what you and I are discussing, it's mature now in me, meaning like alive out here in the world and very conscious, okay? And when I say conscious, I don't even mean just mentally, mean like in my conscious mind. It's, well, yes, that too, but it's very alive in my being, and I'm unafraid of it. And I'm versus before, like it's like my niece. I can just see so much of her as me, and I am her. And she's also very naive and ignorant, right? And so it's like the whole gauntlet of maturity of coming out into the world, and you realize that it's like it's always been here. And now it's about, okay, now how are we being deliberate and conscious about this now? And it's just always been here. So now my desire to see it crystallize in the world, maybe that might be the question that hasn't been answered, but I'm going to go ahead and answer it. To see it crystallize out in the world in a much more bigger collective way, right? Like when you and I talk, I'm constantly talking about you and I and those like us. This is so much bigger than me. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I can leave Earth now. Like, I've already won. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know. I've already won. I am love. I'm whole. Like, it's done. Okay? Now, it's just like, how do we make this shit count from here forward? Otherwise, like you said on Monday, I might as well leave this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? You know what I mean? I get approached by men. Like, why are you single? Bitch, because I choose to be. In this dynamic, you know what I mean? Like, there's such an inferior question. Like, you really asking me, why you think? Why you think? Use your thinking mind. Why you think, okay? And so I get approached by men all the time because they see a wonderful thing, a magnetic thing. And, a wealthy Italian man was on me to take me out. And Ruth was like, Ruth is the woman who's handling, you'll meet her. You know Ruth, right? She's like, Naima, right? Because the whole, amongst women, it's like, you meet a rich man, you better secure that. I'm not here to just be fucking around with rich men for shits and giggles. I got shit to do around here. If anything, he gonna contribute to what I got going on. You see what I'm saying? Like, unless he's contributing to what I came here to do, we have no purpose. And she like, well, you don't want to feel like, wait a minute. See, clearly you don't know what, me, you know? And it just was so, when I tell people about the rededication and the rededication so you can really be a vessel, a worthy vessel. And you need to hear what I mean when I say that. I'm not going to elaborate. You hear it or you don't. A worthy vessel. So that no matter what happens in the external world, because I've said this, I said this in one of the newsletters, on your path to freedom, you're going to have to give up a lot of good to get to great. A lot of good. White affluent men pursue me. Like if I just wanted to get married and have a man with money, I could have been had that. It is the easiest thing for me to do. I know how to play the game. I know how to stroke the ego. I know how to make you feel good. I look good. Like all of it. Y'all, anyway, and this is why I brought up what I brought up in our community on Monday. And like when you're on purpose, you rededicate. You're going to have to pass up a lot of good to get to great. A lot of the ego thrills, a lot of the temporary empty calories that are when you're weakened, they're very seductive. It was no big deal for me to let this guy go who was all on my life. This man would not, I'm walking, he wouldn't leave. I said, no, why not? It's just not there. Why you won't go out to dinner with me right now? It's just not there. Okay, can I have your number? No, what? It's just not there. Oh, I know, because in America, the men are dangerous. The whole thing. I'm walking. He won't leave. You see what I mean? Like, you're going to have to pass up a lot of good.
Yes.
To get to great. So when you say to me, when did you, and it's always been here. Now it's just the realness about let's do the real motherfucking thing. Like the real thing. The real thing.
I love that. And you know what? I understand where you're coming from. And I guess why I posed the question like that is because all of this that you talk about, I had to go through a process of, like, yes, the love, me wanting, me knowing that this love exists, this love that we're talking about, not this romantic type of, Hollywood type of love, but this fullness and this love of the all right, this deep connection. Knowing that exists, but due to the programming in this system, having it wrapped up into stuff, ideals like that, I'm supposed to be taken care of by a man. Finding a rich man is the best thing that can happen. A man taking care of you is the highest form of love that comes from a man. All of these ideals, and with me, I know I had to go through a process of refinement, of realizing that's not right. Like, Jessica, you don't need a rich man. You become the rich person. Because you're looking to fill, you're almost looking to a person to fill gaps within you and to complete you and make you whole. Because the system will try to tell you that that's what relationship is about, is completing you, making you feel whole, making you into a real woman. And it's like, I've had to cipher that and get back to that childlike love, where it's not conditional and it's not looking for you to give your power to somebody and for them to basically take care of you like a child or a dependent. So I feel like even the processes that I've gone through in relationship and connection, it's been about breaking those programmings down and realizing that there are illusions that really don't serve me or anybody else. So I feel like now I've gotten to a point, specifically this year, where it's like, I don't need a man in that way. I don't need a man to complete me. I don't need a man to be my all, be my source. I need to become whole in myself so I can truly process and give and receive love correctly and not out of neediness.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. I want to speak to, I'm grateful right now. I'm super grateful. YouTube, what's up? TikTok, what's up? How y'all doing? Thank you for all the love and likes. We got over 1,000 hearts so far. Thank you for all the hearts. share the live stream. I want to talk about, there's so many different dynamics, and perhaps Jessica and I will talk again, but in November, I think it's 14th and November 16th, I'm hosting, Jessica is coming as a guest from DC. Ooh, ooh. I'm hosting God and the Devil Are Welcome. I repeat, November 14th and November 16th in Houston, Texas. I'm hosting God and the Devil Are Welcome. What is this about? It's about the all of us showing up. Melanin dominant man, melanin dominant woman, who are gods. You got to know who you are. Obviously, this is not one of the things I'm about to go into hella explanation. When you know, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. And the vortexes that we are. Okay. The vortexes that we are, the truth of who we are as both God and the devil, as walking alls. That's what we are. We're walking alls. And our willingness, okay, willingness to bring who we actually are into a room, all of us, man and woman. All of the stuff that's happening online, that's loud, I know it. Like all the disappointments that all of us have. Listen, all of us got stories. Jessica and I were on the phone yesterday talking about heartbreak, being played, all that, yeah, all the naivete in love, all the youngness, being young in love, being, empty, right? Like, looking for somebody that's just all the immaturity in love and the bastardizing of love. That's how I see it. I mean, with the bastardizing of it, because love is a high thing. Shout out to Psych Hacks. I want to have a conversation with him too. You know that white man, blonde eyes, he got a YouTube channel called Psych Hacks. You know what I'm talking about?
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a video. Anyway, I got some questions. What? Where did you get that from? Anyway, it's really simple. Simple. Here's the thing. For those of us who are truly purpose driven. Now, what do I mean when I say purpose? Like, anyway, I don't even want to explain it. It's like, I feel like this is a vibrational thing. You either are it or not. You need to be at this level already to even be in a room like this, to even say yes to a room like this, But those of us who thrive in honesty, let's start there, who are melanin dominant, man and woman, who thrive in honesty, no matter how good or bad it sounds or feels, right? But we know that a clean, energetic space is essential, first of all. Second of all, we have already said yes to our high purpose, because we can have a lot of purposes, right? To take care of that, to do that are a purpose. Then there's a high purpose. Okay, I'm talking about our high purpose. In my experience, our high purpose is usually the thing that feels impossible. It's the thing that feels unrealistic. It feels too hard. They got billboards all over Milan right now that says winning is not for everybody. Jessica, how you feel about that?
I mean, I look at it as true and false. Because everybody has the potential to win, but everybody really don't want to win. And that's okay. So, I mean, it's true and false. I mean, it's true and false.
True and false.
It's everything.
So, I'm talking about in the domain of folks' highness, not everybody's going to win. And when I say win, I mean just really going after it and being steadfast. or being it. I don't say going after it, but really, when you get called, and you either gonna say yes or you gonna say no. It's really that simple. You're gonna say yes and you're gonna say no. And some people say yes, most people say no. And then there's the other group that says yes, but then they quit, right? It never quits in them. It turns into a kind of resentment, rot, bitterness, negativity that won't quit, etc. Because quietly inside they know they're not doing their high thing. And so
I just made a video about this.
Talk about it. Go ahead.
I haven't posted it yet.
Talk about it.
But I made a video about when you're saying no to all of this in you.
Yeah.
This bigness.
Yeah.
This power that's bigger than you. When you say no to it, it has no way to get out. So therefore, it starts inner destructing.
That's right.
On a spiritual level.
That's right.
And then secondly, your soul knows, well, if you ain't gonna do what you here for, we gotta get your ass up out of here. So now we expediting your reincarnation. So that's why you see people getting so chronically sick when they refuse to walk in their power and their purpose, especially women. But that's another topic.
No, that's right on time. That's right on time. Sick, or just like bitter and like locked, like negative, like bitter, negative inside. You can't see. It's like you can't see all the good that dramatically abounds. When you really are a God down here, it's just so natural for you to see all the good all the time, and to naturally just do what is required of you to be the walking embodiment of good, to be in connection with all of us who are of this. And when you are saying no to your high purpose, it's literally like you put energetic locks on your ability to be in the flow of all the good. So anyway,
mental illness. It leads to mental illness. I almost feel like
that
a lot of mental illness, because you almost have to split yourself, like schizophrenic.
Say that again. You have to what yourself? Would you say you have to what yourself?
You have to split yourself.
Oof.
So you have to cut off certain parts of you and split yourself, because you can't. How can you learn to ignore this voice whispering in your ear and your spirit? You have to split yourself. You have to cut off things. You have to act like you don't hear. And this is why I think mental illness in a lot of powerful women, it eventually sets in along with other chronic autoimmune diseases. You have too much within that you're trying to hold. It's a lot.
So let's talk about this in like a real. A lot of what has happened, I'm so grateful over the. Being in Italy is such a bountiful blessing for me. Thank you. To do this work that I'm doing, and I'm saying what I'm doing because Jessica is pretty new to my world. I don't know what Jessica's doing. We'll learn more about each other over time. So much of what's required to exist in highness is learning how to use your emotions versus having your emotions use you. Because we are deeply, strongly feeling people, deeply strong. Like we can wipe ourselves out with our own emotions. The mind, oh my God, it can either be the thing that takes us where we, create heaven, or we just create a real pretty ass hell. I know how to, oh my God, what this thing can do, what it can do negatively and positively. And that's for all of us, what we can do with these things, this body, this heart, this mind, this primal energy, my God, the intensity. And I really, Jessica, I want you to contribute here. I want y'all watching to contribute here and tell me, because please hear me when I say this. Melanin-dominant men, I want you to recognize how much of your hand is destroying what's possible for us collectively here. How much of your hand, how much of this what Jessica just said about so many melanin dominant women, and even just humans. Okay, this is happening with humans, but we're focusing on melanin dominant men and women, the gods of us. The mental illness that is set in, the true distortion, the thing that for those of us who are in our right mind, we're talking about everybody else, and we're like, they don't see. We're just like, it's like, right? And I know we have lied. So many of us have lied. Our mothers have lied. Your grandmothers lied, and they more so withheld. There was a lot of withholding and a lot of lying for whatever the reasons were at the time, right? The conditions of the time, the culture at the time. And it's like they were saying one thing to your dad and your granddad and your great granddad, and they were saying another thing to their daughters and their granddaughters and their great granddaughters. It was it was two different conversations. And this is a deep and wide topic, but we are not naturally small. This thing y'all want us to be. It's almost like you need us to be it because there's something in you that has been is so underdeveloped. The God that you are has never thrived. And this needing us, so many of your fathers, your grandfathers, your great grandfathers, the whole cultural expectation for us to remain small with you, to pretend to be less, not want. And it's so insidious, and it's just, it's fake. It's not real. We are grand people. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Black women. Heart disease. Okay. We lead in fibroids. Melanin dominant men it's, are you being honest with yourself? Who are you? Do you know who you are? For those of us who are gods, melanin dominant man, melanin dominant, we are grand beings. We are grand beings without even trying. In order for us to exist in these mediocre ways, we got to do things in here to exist at those levels. It is not real and right for Black women to play these docile, these things that I hear y'all revering as good women. It's all fake. It's fake. It's a performance. I can do that, and it's fake. Like I said at the beginning of my time here, I can easily, when y'all say to us, you're single, you're going to end up alone and all that, do you realize how many Black women are so okay with that now? Because we have gotten sick and overweight and frustrated with trying to pretend to be something we're not, trying to pretend to be small, and the submissive thing that y'all keep demanding that we be. Why? Why do you demand that we be small things? This heaven that is here is who we are. Well, we are made. We are made to be grand, to create heaven here. You want us to lie and be small and be quiet and submissive within this idea. What do you mean? Because here's the thing. I am submissive to my highness, not to playing small. I am a God. You are a God. I know this unequivocally. I know this unequivocally. And so many melanin dominant women just have weakened themselves to be with you. They remain small and resentful to be with you. What does that say about you? If you are a God, Don't gods who are activated and on and big and grand require their equal, require their highness. If I have to shrink myself, if I have to pretend to be something that I'm not, this idea that you all have of our grandmothers knew how to keep a man. Do you know what she was telling the daughter versus what she was telling the boy, the son, she was saying two different things. She was saying that because of the times. And for those of us who have futuristic grandmothers, she saw what was going to be required of us, which is why they told us to get education, which is why they told their daughters and granddaughters, make sure you put some money away. No matter what's going on, make sure you put. This smallness is over, is dead, is over, is over. This fear-based behavior, these patterns is over, is over. The room in Houston that gods and the devil are welcome is that so our wholeness can enter this room. I want the honesty. I want the vulnerability. I want the parts of me that feel afraid to be knocked down. Anything in me that's weak in me, weak in you, killed, annihilated. I want true love to permeate this space, and it will, and it's already done. And it's just so evident. It's like, can't you see? Can't you see all of the hollering online, the red pill podcast, the women, the 4B movement on both sides, the negativity on both sides? That shit is dead, done. I know who I am and I know who you are, and I stand on that. Everything else, noise. Now it's about this love permeating between all of us collectively, so that what we are here to do can be fueled by the love that we exist in together. That's what we're doing. To me, it's so easy. I've worked up to this. I don't want to make it seem like it, you know what I mean? It's all sunshine and roses. It's a lot of not like to be moved through. A lot of the amnesia, a lot of the old programming, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the disappointments, because we've all gone through heartbreak, disappointment. Do you want to see me, melanin-dominant God? Do you want to see me? Do you want me to see you? Do you want us to be loved together? Do you want your purpose alive in this world? Do you want the impossible done in your lifetime? Are you called to be a part of bringing the impossible to life? It's very clear like that to me. That's very black and white. There's no question around this. It's rare. It's impossible. It's what we are, for those of us who are called and chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. The time is now. All the protection is here. The knowledge is here. The gold is here. The love is here. It is here. It's always been here. Just so many of us have been blind to it. It's always been here. This is what we're doing in Houston, November 14th and 16th. And it starts now in conversation. It starts now right here. And you got to be honest. You got to be honest. If you like, right? Like one dude said a few weeks ago when we was live stream, I just want to date. I just want to date. You know, like what is it? God and the devil is welcome. The ugly in you is welcome. All of us, melanin-dominant man, melanin-dominant, the ugly is welcome. The power in the room will alchemize it all. The power in the room will alchemize it all. This is where we're going. This is where we are. This is what we're here to do. Otherwise, I don't know, go get you somebody to get into a nice big house in the suburbs and rock together.
So, I'm adjusting my camera. So one thing I do want to say, when you asked, why do we have to play small? I will also ask, when did we become the competition? Because that's the reason why we feel like we have to play small, is because our men are viewing us as competition versus your teammate, your partner. Because when you have a partner, You want your partner to be either just as strong or stronger than you, because we're trying to win the gold together.
Let me close this window. It's loud. Hold on. Oh, keep going.
So it's like our melanin men have adopted this type of partnership that is not true to them. And we know it's not true to them. It's somebody else's type of partnership. But we know it's not true to them because we have to be two-faced. We have to be one way in public. I'm the submissive woman that plays small, but in private, we running everything. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it with my eyes. I experienced it with myself and my ex-husband where, yeah, in public, oh, he's the man, he's so great, I'm just here. But in private, hey, this is how we're going to do. This is how we're going to do this. I went ahead and took care of this. This is done.
Yeah.
So, and I see my grandmothers and my mothers do this same thing and then come out in the public and act like, oh, it's all him. And even this saying of behind every great man is a great woman. So it's like, where have we gotten this concept where there has to only be one person front facing? That there can't be a community, because when we look at community, there's going to be multiples. There's not just I'm the head and everybody else got to follow behind. That's a terrible chain. If we think about defense, it's bad if you got one lined up behind the other versus a line and then people behind them, right? Yeah. So it's just like I think even with melanated women, this has led to what we talked about the schizophrenic and the mental illness, having to play all these different roles. Not only with your own power, having to stuff that down and make yourself presentable and, acceptable by different people by playing different roles, but also this thing of being Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, where you're one person this way, and then when you look here, you're a whole different type of person. And it's overwhelming. It causes a mental break, having to keep up with all these goddamn characters and hats and faces. Yeah. And on top of all having to play role, all these different characters and things, you're not taking care of yourself because you've been told that you ain't shit and that your initiation into womanhood is giving to everybody else.
We have a lot of unlearning to do. There's a lot of melanin dominant men just feel, and I want to continue to be clear, right? There are plenty of melanin dominant men who are satisfied with mediocrity, and that's not a dig. I just want to really separate the two so I'm clear, so no one's confused about what I'm meaning over here. So there's plenty that just want what, a home cooked meal, a woman at the house, and there's nothing wrong with this. Like, I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with this. And then there's the ones where that's not enough. They can have all that. That's nice. It's not enough. And then it's the other ones who are called. And it's like there's a certain kind of work that he's called to do that's not going to be activated in the way that it's intended to. Like, it's over his life until he gets with the right woman or women. It could be multiple. And what I am seeing and hearing, and what's been in some of my experience, particularly as an adult woman, when I was younger, is, and you alluded to it, you didn't say it directly, but I think you were alluding to it, like basically, like cultural norms and relationship norms that melanin dominant men are wanting to act out are not even, they're not theirs. They got them from Chad and them. Is that what you were implying earlier?
Yes.
And It's like still trying to agree with the system, but being mad at the system simultaneously. Still trying to get respect through the means of the system's culture and norms while being upset with that very system.
Yes.
And hey, holistic manifesting. And so then what that does is then the melanin dominant man, God, has to ask himself, what is the highest and best way for me to be in relationship with the God, the female God? What's the highest and best way for me to be in relationship with her? And it will reveal itself in the authentic connection. It will not very naturally. And what's going to happen is, and this is part of what we'll be navigating in Houston and in our relationships, period, whether you come to Houston or not, is unconscious behaviors that you don't even know are there until you're interacting with a woman who knows who she is. Because then something will happen and you have to wonder why you thinking this, why you expecting this, why you feel like this, what is this? And then she may feel something similar. And it's like, okay, let's discuss this. Okay, what am I thinking here? Why do I think? Why do I want this? Why do I want this from you? What does this give me? Why do I expect this? Why do I think it should be like this? And really digging down, because when we, oh my God, when we dig down up in there and we clean it out, that's how I see it. It's like when we really clean it out and we're honest, right? We're just going to require honesty, vulnerability, being intentional. Because if you're just there for the pussy, you ain't going to even do all this. You know what I'm saying? You know, unless, right? And it's fine if you just there for the pussy. That's going to come out too, right? But come on now, right? Like, when we start getting into energy, I know my energy, so I've trusted all. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when we really clean it out and we get in there, God, we can finally start playing. And when I say playing, I'm talking about high level functioning. Because when you get beyond all the shit that's in the way, all of this shit is play. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, can we get to the play, please? What? What are you doing? That's what I'm saying. Unless we doing the real thing, I don't want nothing to do with none of y'all. Like, stay over there. You know what I'm saying? Because I am love, Jessica. You are love. We want to love, period. Everything, you get everything you want in love. Do you understand that? Everything you want and need. We don't need these fucking punk ass conversations we having now. We won't even be having them. I'm telling y'all. Grow up. Y'all should grow the fuck up. What? But you gotta work to get up to that, because all your ego in the way, your fear of. That's why so many men be needing us to attach to them, because it's like, you mine. Wait, hold up. Where I'm gonna get my home cooked meal from? Where I'm gonna get my regular pussy from? Oh God. Oh. If you relax first, you know what I mean, and you be honest, women gonna want to be around you anyway. If she can be true, you true, and we really are operating at high levels, women are going to want to be around you more than you can even handle.
This is true.
You know,
this is true.
Do you want that? Or your mind is already going, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to work and provide for 10 women? Like, what does that look like? What does that mean? Oh, my God. This is what I mean. Like, you got to get all that out the way. You're not even playing at a high level, sir. But let's go there. Let's go there. Talking to you, melanin-dominant male God. Let's go there. Can we?
I love that. And I like when we discuss real power.
Yeah.
Like, what is real power? Is real power being able to conquer and dominate those at a disadvantage? Or is real power being able to uplift those and have everybody shining? Like, that sounds like some real fucking power.
Yeah, true. So thank you for saying that. This is what I want to say to that. So because of the darkness, the unconscious mind of a lot of melanin dominant men, a lot of them do want to do that. And that's for various reasons. Some of it has to do with the experience of being melanin dominant male. Some of it has to do with just being an animal, period, right? Because that's something that exists in not just melanin dominant men, but humans, okay? The Bible even talks about, I know this, I'm taking the Bible a la carte, about man's domination of man, right? So humans desire to dominate other humans, right? So that's a human thing. And then when we narrow it down to melanin dominant gods, because there's so much in the culture of demonizing, and so they've internalized a lot of this, and a lot of them do feel small and unimportant, which is why they want to feel like they're dominating a woman, right, and conquering a woman to show, right, and why a lot of them want to get a white woman, right, because then they get to show, fuck you, I'm the man. Look, I got the prize, right? And embracing that about them. It's time for us to stop on both sides. This is old being angry at our darkness being on display, shaming and blaming our darkness being on display. Because if you want to get to the play, if you want to get to the power, if you want to get to the true transcendental unconditional love, you got to move through that. And this is what I was saying yesterday when we were on the phone, Jessica, when we talking about all of us. You really want to see all of that, man? And I'm saying that to every melanin dominant female God who's listening to my voice right now. Do you really want to see all of that man? Do you really want him to see all of you? Because we keep saying, well, for those of us who say we want to be vulnerable, we want him to be vulnerable. We want to be all of who we are. We want him to be all of who he is. We want to feel safe. We want him to feel safe. And for some of y'all, y'all really just want to find somebody that you just want your person for you to just do fun things in life. And that's fine. For those of us who have an actual purpose, though, okay? And here's what I mean. Listen, you need to hear it how you hear it, okay? Many are called, few are chosen. For those of you who are chosen to do collective work, right? Work that's in service of the collective, whether it's demonstrating through your relationship, whether you're called to be a speaker on the world stage, whether you're already have a company or you are called to start a company that's doing transformational work, transcendental work, power work, healing work, work that's really affecting the masses, or even affecting, hundreds of thousands, or even hundreds. The quality of the relationship is what's impacting your work drastically. The power, the love, the true flow in that. In order for the true flow to exist, y'all really got to be who y'all is in there, which means parts of himself that he ain't even met yet needs to feel like they can come up in your presence, and vice versa. So this is where maturity and what's your true intent here? Was your true intent really to just have a man who performed your idea of a man? And as soon as he started to show all of himself, you actually didn't want that and you left because it was never really your intent to be in a high level relationship that was purposeful, that fueled your work in the world? See? So it's like, this is what starts to reveal itself, Jessica. That's why I told you, people, you don't even have to worry about what people really intending is going to come out. They might not even know the intent, but it's going to come out. That's why each person, you got to be clear about your own intent, which sometimes you don't even know until you get into a thing. That's why honesty is so important, because as long as you tell the truth, you clear, you good. You could be like, you know what? I really thought this is what I was doing. I really thought this was my intent. I really thought I wanted this, but now that I'm in this, I realize I'm not, I need to do this first, or I don't really want this, or actually I thought I wanted this, but I actually want this, whatever. But the level of skill and responsibility and care, all of that is included in this. And this is what I'm here for. I exist at these levels. This is the purpose of the room too, in Houston, November 14 and 16. A lot of us, we're so in our head, we by ourselves, or we're in these really safe, suffocating relationships, right? So we're not, there's a way we're not thinking clearly, because there's a real equilibrium that we create with our partners, right? It's like we're hooked with them on an energetic level. And it's like we think a certain way, and as soon as we unhook, it's like our mind. That happened to me. You know that, right? You know that experience. And so listen, if you know that you, like, I'm not trying to break up their relationship, but a lot of people need to break up with who they with. And if they serious about power, go ahead, Jessica. What you want to say?
Well, before I started really walking in purpose and getting on the journey, right?
Yeah.
I was married. I had a nice little marriage. Girl, it was the perfect little Christian marriage. And he was a good guy. He was a good husband. But just like he said, sometimes you got to let go of good in order to get into what's right for you and greatness, right? And I heard God tell me, you have to let him go.
That's incredible. What was that like? Oh my God.
It was actually during COVID, where I would walk, and I would walk on this golf course because it was behind my house. And I remember, like, when that time started coming up, like, I already had a knowing that he couldn't go forward with me to where I was going. He just wasn't there. He had traveled to the point where he was going to travel with me. And I know for me to go to more, I had to let him go because he just didn't have the capacity to go where God was taking me. And I remember just walking and hearing like a whisper of, you know what you have to do. You have to let him go. And I just boo crying. I was just I think I would walk almost like 2 hours every day. But that day in particular, I sat on the ground and probably cried for like a whole hour. Just processing, knowing that this was going to hurt him, knowing that everybody in the community, because we had like the model little marriage, right? Everybody in the community was going to be shocked, thinking like, well, what people are going to think. But I just knew. I knew the longer I stayed in it, because it had got to the point where it started to break down. And that's the thing is, when you stay in place where you know you have outgrown, that you know the expiration date has come, it will go from peaceful and okay to very hazardous and crazy as hell real quick. Because it's done with. So now you're just bumping into it. And we had gotten to that point where it was like, So I knew in order to preserve him and me, it was best to let him go. Because I was trying to play small to keep him comfortable, and he was trying to play big to keep me comfortable. And we both were inauthentic. And in being inauthentic, we were harming each other. Because he was feeling like he wasn't enough, and I was feeling like I was dying. So I had to let him go. And then the bigger I became, insecurity and jealousy built in him. And I know he didn't want to be that way towards me, but he couldn't help it because I was so big.
Yeah. Boy, don't I know this. This is what I want us to be honest about. And like, the ones who gonna listen, and the ones who choose not to, they just not. We just gotta accept that. I've accepted that. I had to move through that. It's like they just, and that's a whole other conversation about it. We start restoring real, true naturalness, and anyway, that's a whole other conversation around here. What do you want to say in closing? Let me look at these comments. Let me see if it's something. Did you see anything in here you want to address?
I see Betty said it's all been a lie. And then Johnny said she the boss calling all the shots. So that's what we was talking about. To, grandma, mama running it behind the scenes. Shame on us for choosing partners who aren't on our level, let alone equally yoked. And I mean, yes, but
not shame on us.
And how we were trying to fit into it, it is what it is. The good thing is we're at a day where you get a choice. Are you going to try to maintain a system that is dying? Or are you going to get back in rightful alignment to what is actually authentic and true to your very nature? So that's the choice. That's the great divide.
Yeah. And perhaps this is what I'll say in closing. And anything you want to share, Jessica? if you weren't told how to do relationship, and again, I'm talking to melanin dominant gods, him and her. I'm talking to melanin dominant gods, him and her. If you want to say God and goddess, that's fine. This is who I'm talking to right now. If you weren't told how to be in relationship with one another, how would you naturally do relationship? As a free being, as a sovereign being, as a being who has your standards, how would you be? In what ways do you naturally feel called to be in relationship? And are you in relationship in that way now? And if you're not, are you intending that? Because the time is now for us to create a whole new way. And it might not even be a whole new way. It might just be tweaking some of the ways that do work for us. It is time for us to make our own standards and rules for how to be in a relationship, and this is true morality right here, which erect themselves. They show themselves when we are in authentic, honest communication and connection with each other. They reveal themselves when we're being intentional about this relationship and our purpose and what we're doing. The values reveal themselves. The morals reveal themselves. And we're not trying to impose a kind of morality and value to make it do something. This is where we start really talking about the spiritual essence of a thing. And that requires responsibility. Like, that's responsibility and choice. You in or you out, as far as I'm concerned. And November 14th and 16th is a great opportunity for you to get to know yourself, for you to be in a room with the folks who are hearing this kind of content that you're hearing. So anybody who says yes to this kind of content, anybody who says yes to showing up to a room like this, you already know they're of a certain mind and frequency, or at least wanting to be in connection with this kind of frequency. And then we start to purify in the room together. My rooms, yeah, you want to get worked through for real? Yeah. You want to get to know yourself for real? You want true, yeah. So November 14th and 16th, God and the Devil Are Welcome is the name of it. So the 14th is, do you remember the times, Jessica? What day did you sign up for, the 14th or the 16th?
I signed up for the 14th, and I think that one started at 6 or 8.
Okay, so that's probably one that starts at 1, because that goes 1 to 8. So the 14th goes 1 to 8, and the 16th goes 11 to 6 or something like that. Yes. So admission is $7.95. Lunch is included. So we have the day together. If you would like more information, feel welcome to DM me. If you're on YouTube, feel welcome to email me. Again, November 14th, November 16th in Houston. It's co-ed. It's called God and the Devil Are Welcome. Admission is $7.95. Did you want to say anything in closing, Jessica?
No. That's pretty much it. I hope to see you all November 14th and the 16th, right? Yeah. 14th and the 16th. 2 different dates, right?
Yeah.
$7.95. If you're ready to come and fully be open with each other and
transform, connect, connect. Find your if your goal is marriage, perhaps connect with a spouse. If your goal is maybe you just want a lover, companion, a muse, a business partner, essentially, but right relationship, being very intentional about the relationship. That's it. All right, Jess said, what a beautiful and compassionate perspective on relationships. Vandis, I don't know what that's in response to. All righty. Thank you all so much for being here. And feel welcome to be in touch if you have any questions about God and the devil are welcome. Jessica, thank you so much. And thank you for putting us on to how to do this side-by-side thing, finally.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the talk. And, we'll catch up soon, okay?